Paweł Trela, Hoegert Technic brand ambassador, a licensed rally driver and Polish drift champion, a constructor and a lecturer at university. On a daily basis, he runs a company that prepares cars for motorsport, where he also participates actively in the process of designing and creating vehicles specially designed for competition. His most famous design is Maybach, the only drifting Opel GT in Europe, with which he takes part in the competition. Paweł Trela is also a consultant for Hoegert Technic brand in the field of designing and testing new products. Cooperating with the brand, he builds its credibility, and he also co-creates its image and supports communication. Hello, we have talked about my engine recently. Today we will focus on the first element of drive transfer. So we will talk about a gearbox. We will show you how it differs from standard one and so that it transmits almost 1000 Nm of torque. None of serial available gearbox was able to endure a full season in Opel. That is why I bought a Quaife gearbox. It is 6-speed sequential dogbox. So exactly the same model is used in rally cars, racing cars, cars for rallycross. We will do its quick revision in a moment after one season. We will dismantle it and see how it differs from a standard, just normal street gearbox. The first difference visible to the naked eye. Here we change gear in linear system, so sequence system 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. We put in forward gear. Why do we do in this way? It is easier, for example, when braking, as hand moves forward automatically, so we throw out of gears. The same way if we speed up, unlike in the most of serial cars, that we have plus forward because we want to go faster, so we give upper gear. Pointless. The next element which differentiates a professional gearbox from a normal street manual gearbox is a small oil pump. We have an oil filter, which is exactly the same as used in engine, a filter attachment, and we also have an oil cooler. Thanks to that, the oil is clear as poured one here. There are no fillings and it works in lower temperature, so such gearbox will work longer and better for sure. We have the gearbox dismantled. Another element that distinguishes my performance gearbox from the normal, let's say, street one. Here is the second gear wheel from Mazda 323. This is the second gear wheel from my gearbox. You can see the difference with the naked eye. First of all, here we have oblique teeth, here we have straight teeth. With oblique teeth, higher loads are transferred to the bearings at the end of the housing. It is obviously not very desirable in such a sport gearbox, it is one thing. Secondly, of course, the dimensions, width of such tooth size, that says it all. This one has to carry much bigger loads than that one. Although it is Mazda 323 GTR, four-wheel drive car, 300 horsepower, so in fact quite a lot. Next element as regard to gearing. This is my shaft, this is my hub, which is a bit damaged here, but you know, it should be all round. Here it is done in such a way that these four teeth mesh with this hub in this way. Here is a trapezoidal shape in order not to follow a trend to unhook. Whereas in a serial car, with a serial gearbox, we have a wheel gear. We have a synchromesh crown wheel, which is designed to stop the wheel by being pushed into, so that this gear goes without scratching, without anything. This is a hub which is responsible for it. A lot of elements, dogs, spring, hub, external and internal parts. It comes in here, fastens it. and it works, but this whole element is like that here. So it is much less complicated. Once, and two, with these teeth, the gear change takes milliseconds, literally. Here you know the oil must be squeezed out here, the gear wheel must stop, some inertia. It takes some more time. There are triple synchronizers used in some sports gearboxes, for example Audi, like S, RS, and things like that. So there are simply more of these elements. Here we have 3 instead of 1. All this in order to simply change this gear faster. Conclusions from the inspection. The gearbox has actually run almost 5 years, and you can see that a few elements need to be replaced. After the last inspection, let's say a year ago, it didn't look as bad as here. Here we can see that this tooth is pretty badly chipped. Also, the third gear will have to be replaced, of course, together in set with the lower one. Here we can see that the tooth is a bit broken. It will not affect its durability much, it will just make the gearbox louder. This teeth here, it is a bit poor, because they have actually half the height. So there is a risk that these gears will stop fastening. They will start to fall out, and then they will wreak much more mess than it is now. Well, for sure, third gear wheels and a hub too. It is better to change them in a set. Actually, the rest is more or less okay. Well, as you can see, fourth gear is also a bit undercut here, but it will still drive. We know what is damaged, we have ordered the parts and we are waiting for the delivery. Then, of course, we'll put the gearbox back together, fill fresh oil and go to the track.